Let's continue this conversation with Devin Nunes, former House Intel chairman and CEO of Trump Media and Technology Group, and former Georgia congressman and former federal prosecutor, Bob Barr. Gentlemen, welcome to you both. Congressman Nunes, this is the first time we've spoken since the latest indictment in Georgia, since it came down. What are your top line thoughts on all this?
Well, Chris, I think it's this, that it's what level do you want to go on the nutty meter? Every one of these four indictments is totally nuts in their own way. The only difference is that this is not something that can be laughed about or joked about, because you do have a weaponized justice system and a two-tiered system of justice that everybody's now been talking about, I think now realizing. But this is just very dangerous times for our country. Speaking of some of our old friends in Congress, this latest indictment was basically taken from the Democrats' witch hunt with their special committee that looked at January 6th, as you recall, that they kicked off Republicans. I was there at the time. They wouldn't allow Republicans to participate. They only allowed the Republicans who hated Trump to participate. And that's what this is. This is just plagiarized. They picked it up from that, plugged it into this, and filed it. And we'll see where it goes from here.
Interesting analysis. Congressman Barr, you're from Georgia, and you're also a former federal prosecutor. What do you make of Mark Meadows asking to move this case to a federal court? If Democrats can turn, expired state misdemeanors and turn them into federal felonies, why not that?
I think it's a sound motion. Certainly, it has a great deal of merit. It's not a slam dunk, though, because the federal court will look at it in terms of were some of the acts that he is accused of engaging, and not all of them, I mean, some of them just clearly are ridiculous to include in any indictment, federal or state or otherwise, setting up a phone call for the president. But a court will have to look behind that to see if any of these specific acts may have been outside of his duties. I don't think on the surface they appear to be, but it is an extremely interesting issue to present to the courts. As Mr. Meadows' attorneys say in the removal notice itself, this is a power that has rarely been used because, generally speaking, over the course of our nation's history, state courts stick to state issues and federal courts stick to federal issues. This is an unusual situation where you have that messiness because of this Fulton County indictment. So the courts do need to straighten it out.
Yeah, not only Fulton County in Georgia, Congressman, but also up in New York, Alvin Bragg. And who are the political people doing this, erasing the lines of normalcy in America? Democrats. They're the ones who are saying, of course, state people can now file federal charges. Who doesn't do this? Only Democrats do. Okay, I want to turn our attention to the guy who's actually sitting in the Oval Office, actually doing harm to our country. Congressman Nunes, you spent a lot of your time in Congress dealing with the Department of Injustice. In a new filing, the DOJ slamming Hunter Biden's legal team and essentially blamed them for the sweetheart deal fiasco, which is absurd because, well, it was actually the corrupt DOJ that actually proffered this deal to begin with. Do you see a rift growing here between these two sides? And what do you think it means for the big guy sitting in the Oval Office?
No, I don't see a rift at all. They're all on the same team, and they're all working on how they can how they can maneuver this around. They're talking about transferring jurisdictions. The whole idea that you would appoint a special counsel, which I think we talked about last week, of someone who has basically hid this whole situation for the last 5 years, is preposterous. So I dumb it down to this. Someone is lying, and you have to pick a side. You have to decide either people like myself, who for years have been saying, from the Russia hoax on to the Ukraine impeachment hoax, that this is wrong, the government shouldn't be doing this, DOJ and FBI are hopelessly corrupt. Either I'm wrong or I'm right. These are black and white issues. So, and you kind of, that little monologue, in your monologue, you showed, just the absurdity of the left-wing media, who is the propaganda arm of the Democratic Party, where they're on both sides of this issue. So I would urge your viewers, you can go back, and I've been saying the same exact thing since 2017. So you have to pick a side. Either one side is destroying America or they're not. And that's really what it comes down to. And I think the Republicans in Congress and the Republicans in the Senate, they've got to wake up here. If you focus on Joe
Yep.
Biden, it's fine in the inquiry to go after Biden, but you damn sure better figure out who are the people that are really should be prosecuted under RICO. Who are the ones that are really conspiring? It is the Bidens, Obamas, and all of DOJ and the FBI. There are people within there. That's who's conspiring, and that's who's committing the RICO violations.
Yeah, I know. And Rachel Maddow is just so precious. I mean, I'm sure we can all agree on that here on our discussion. Congressman Barr, we're also just learning that the House Republicans are zeroing in on yet another text message where Hunter Biden is complaining about having to split all this, all this money with his daddy. Put aside all the allegations of bribery and the shakedowns and influence peddling just for a second. Isn't this a clear-cut case of tax evasion, money laundering? And if proven, do you think GOP leaders like Mitch McConnell will be able to protect their good friend Joe Biden from impeachment?
It certainly smells of that. Certainly there is evidence of corruption every time another one of these documents comes out as a result of Congressman Comer's investigation. What these latest ones point out, though, is that the Biden family, aside from the corruption, has to be the worst set of money managers in the United States of America. They had millions of dollars coming in, and you have Hunter Biden complaining that he has to pay his dad's bills, and then complaining to a daughter that she wants too much. I mean, what the heck is going on with these people? They can't only not balance a checkbook, they can't even live on tens of millions of dollars.
Yeah, illicit drugs and fast cars are very expensive, Congressman. So, I mean, it takes a lot of money, takes an awful lot of money. Devin Nunes, Bob Barr, gentlemen, thank you very much. Appreciate the time.